What's up guys, it's Greg back with another weekly Q&A, and this week's Q&A is from Daniel. Again, thank you Daniel for participating in these weekly Q&As. It's really helpful for me because I get to make interesting content, and it's helpful for you guys because you get your questions answered. So I know I already gave you a short answer on my Patreon, but today I just wanted to go a little bit more in depth, a little bit more with actual examples. But before that, remember to hit the subscribe button and click on the bell notification to be notified of whenever I upload a new video. And if you want to support me even more, you can join my Ko-fi or Patreon, and there you will get access to tons of other exclusive content like after polls, training tips, Q&As, and much more. Members of my Ko-fi or Patreon are also automatically entered to my monthly giveaways. And now, back to the video. So, gaining advantage in the setup. Now, it differs a little bit between, whether you're an outside puller, inside puller, whether you do a press, top roll. But Daniel, from what I've noticed from your matches, you're more of an outside puller. So that's how I'm gonna demonstrate the ways to get an advantage in the setup. First of all, you always want to get a high post, a high rise. So as far as possible, you don't want your wrist and your angle to be dropped down. It's a bit difficult if you have a longer arm that would lend itself to have to come down. But as far as possible, keep your riser up, keep your angle high. That's the first main thing. And this is important both inside and outside the straps. Next thing, which is kind of related to that, is getting the webbing height. So in relation to your opponent, you want your webbing to be higher. In an actual match, this isn't going to be very obvious. It's not going to be something where you can see a lot of the hand above the other person, but just a slight increase in height, it pays a lot of dividends. It goes a very long way. So gaining riser height as well as webbing height, that is very important. And moving on, another way to gain leverage or gain height in that respect is pushing down with your thumb. So using the thumb to push the opponent down in the setup. That is also an important thing to do. So pushing them down, pushing yourself up, you get my point. Other than height is getting as far back into your opponent's hand as possible. Now this one may work better if you have a bigger hand. If you have a longer hand, you're able to get further back into your opponent's hand. So if you normally set up like this, you can set up a bit further back, and it's going to be harder for your opponent to grip around your hand. But that also makes your fingers harder to wrap around your opponent's hand, so it works better if you have a larger hand compared to your opponent. If you do not, then doing this, it might be more disadvantages to you than your opponent. So have to depend on each individual person. Now inside the strap, always want the strap to be tightened low on your hand like this. You never want the strap to be like this, high, like near your knuckles. You always want the strap to fall down, almost like vertically down on your hand. Same thing goes when they're putting the bottom strap. You want the bottom strap to be as low as possible. Theoretically, if the bottom strap is like around your elbow, that would be fucking awesome. But because we can't do that, you just want the bottom strap to be as low as possible so that when you exert your back pressure, you're able to gain as much leverage as possible compared to if the strap is up high. Won't be able to get as much strength out of your lats and your back. And as for the tightness of the strap, that also slightly depends on whether you have a strong hand compared to your back. So usually, for me personally, my hand and wrist is not as strong as my back. So I like the strap as tight as possible so that I'm able to use more of this bottom strap to drag. But if you know that you have a stronger hand than your opponent, you might want to have the strap a little bit looser so that they can't use the advantage of the bottom strap as well. And then you can take more advantage with your superior hand strength. Again, this goes back to your relative strength between you and your opponent. So you have to do your research on that. Also, something that is important both inside and outside of the strap, especially for you as a top roller, is locking your pronation in the setup. So a lot of people set up and then they have their arms slightly supinated already. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure that your pronation is turned as much as possible, and then you set up based on how far you can lock your pronation. So instead of just setting up like this, where it's already slightly supinated, turn your palm in first, make sure you fully engage your pronator, and then move your body accordingly so that your pronator is fully locked and ready to go anytime. So that's basically most of the advantages you can get in the setup. Other things like loading in the setup, things like that, it's really down to personal preference. For me, I don't really advocate loading that much. Probably just enough so that you can access 100% as quickly as possible. So load like 60, 70%, because going from 60 to 70 to 100% is faster than going from 0 to 100, at least for me. So yeah, try out those tips at your next match, see how it goes, and good luck to you. And that's it for today's Q&A. Thank you again, and remember, if you like the video, hit the like button, remember to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and join my Ko-fi or Patreon if you want to support me. Links in the description below. See you guys next time.